I read that globally, we waste 1 billion tons of food every single year.
It's enough CO2 emissions for a Boeing 747 to fly around the Earth 130,000 times, which is astronomical.
This is Nolan Sulpizio. He founded Clean Plate Innovations, a company which applies machine learning to a growing gluttonous problem: food waste, which accounts for 30 to 40% of the US food supply. It's a crisis which hits this founder particularly close to home.
We also were relatively food insecure growing up, so it was a hard time. So I got to really learn what food insecurity and all that meant.
The truth is, over 2 billion people on Earth suffer from food insecurity, and the data suggests that the amount of food we waste each year could actually solve that problem completely. That's where Nolan's entrepreneurial story began.
My friend Jack goes, food waste. And I'm like, yeah, that's a massive problem. And I immediately start thinking, hey, let's just gamify food waste.
But the game is harder to play than you might think. Even though the annual global economic loss credited to food waste is estimated to be over $1 trillion, that doesn't necessarily mean the world is ready to invest in solving it. And that meant trouble for Nolan's vision.
Who are you gonna sell it to? And I was like, who has the purchasing power?
Where's the money coming from?
Oh my God, dude, I thought it was over.
Today on Thought Leaders, Nolan serves us a full dish on the entrepreneurial meal he thought he'd have to throw out before it could ever be enjoyed, including his pivot from an appetizing gimmick to a more data-driven course.
Screw the students for right now. Data is dollars. All right, let's lock the hell in and let's make a business.
All leading to the answer of today's critical question.
Can technology truly solve this global food crisis? Here's something I'm sure you've heard in your life before. Don't throw that out. Don't waste it. Don't waste food. Well, it turns out it's more than just your dinner table where this problem persists. It is a worldwide pandemic, a problem which we're wondering today, can tech actually solve that? I don't know the answer, but I know somebody who might. This is Nolan Sulpizio of Clean Plate Innovations. Nolan, thanks for joining me on Thought Leaders.
Of course, thank you for having me.
And today, over a flight of local bev, we are going to dive into that question as well as why you founded a company to help combat that problem. Let's start with the first one. This is Wizard Teeth, a Wit by Vellum.
So,
let's sink into this problem. I read that globally, we waste 1 billion tons of food every single year. That seems like a problem almost impossible to overcome, but give me the backstory of why we should care so deeply about this issue.
yeah, that's a great fact to start off with. Not only that, to put it into grasping terms, it's enough CO2 emissions for a Boeing 747 to fly around the Earth 130,000 times, which is astronomical. That's just the CO2 emissions. So
it's persistent, it's pervasive, it's worldwide. And do you have any figures as to the waste compared to consumption of food? Because I hear about it so much, but does it really add up to the amount of food that we're eating?
Yes. So we have a bunch of research on this, and in large-scale dining cafeterias, 1/5 of all the food served is completely wasted. So that means when you're going in there, you're creating a fifth food just to purely throw it out. And we have it in terms of like a burger. So pretty much, I think it's 1 in every 3 burgers, or 3 students waste the equivalent of an entire burger. So most of the food that they're producing is getting ready to just get immediately thrown out, which has a butterfly effect throughout the supply chain. That means way back in the beginning, a farmer spent more water, energy, time, and effort on creating this ingredient that will go through the entire process to literally just get thrown out and not ever touched. So that's how it's impacting on a much bigger level than, oh, hey, I just have this half-eaten apple, I don't feel like eating it anymore. And that's where we're at currently. And actually we did a research, or not us, but Emerson University did a research study called Weigh the Waste, where over 6 months, they did a manual weighing of all the waste, and they realized in that 6 months, a 30% reduction in food waste just from making the students aware of it. So a lot of this, back to answering your question, can tech handle it, or is it people problem? A lot of this comes from humans just not understanding the gravity of where they fit in that supply chain and how their one action can actually lead to 100 different reactions. So if that answers your question.
No, it does. It makes me think about what you would first assume, which is the half apple, which is, oh, there are children suffering from hunger all around the world, and that's the angle that we typically talk about it from. But what you're telling me here is that there's an economic impact that goes beyond that. The energy expenditure, the supply chain expenditure, time and resources well beyond what ends up on the plate, that when you throw that away, it ends up wasting so much more that came before it.
And even after the fact, with a lot of universities, the way they dispose of their waste, they have all of this, and they have to either pay for composting, pay for expensive anaerobic digesters, pay for it to get taken out into a landfill where usually they're charged by the pound for, or by the yard for their dumpsters. So we can even then save on the other end of it. So this supply chain literally goes both ways and has impact both ways, where we just get to see it from that one point of, let me throw it out or not, you know. So it doesn't just also fix the before, it's the after part too that we interject with.
Interesting. So it sounds like if we were to call this a food waste crisis, it isn't just the food in the can, it's so much beyond that. The butterfly effect, as you say, can be, it can change a lot just from a little bit, and sometimes just knowing there's a problem is the first step, as it is here as well. Now, that's an awfully big question to develop a solution against out of nowhere. So I do want to know a little bit more about you. This next one is just a regular old American lager from Shoe Brew, but it's called College. Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Well, salud. All right, we're going to do salud. I noticed that on the first one.
Yeah.
Let's do salud. All right. And College, ironically enough, is where this all started for you, not just to go after the food crisis with your solutions, but to think about business in general. Probably a lot before college, given the family history. I want to ask about that, but why did being an entrepreneur even strike you as interesting before the food crisis became the point of application?
Yeah, well, I am a chaotic, sporadic individual, and that is what entrepreneurship is. I am very animated. I am not a person that you can sit in the cube and like have go for a while. I need to be moving. I need to be talking. I need to be thinking. And
why are we sitting down? Should have been should have been doing a walk and talk through the streets.
Exactly. That's what I do a lot of the time in my meetings, actually. I do walking meetings. So it just was ever since I was a little kid, and back to like the family stuff. My grandfather owned a restaurant in Philadelphia. My father then started his own construction company. So it just was like the natural step. I didn't even ever really think of anything besides being a businessman. I remember being a little kid and people were like, oh, what do you want to be? Yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I want to wear a suit. Like, that's what I thought business was.
I want to wear a suit.
Yeah,
oh, okay. That's almost reflective of that like prison-like cubicle you were just talking about.
But the CEO, I always said, I'm going to be the CEO. I'm going to be the executive.
Strutting through the halls, driving cars.
Exactly, exactly. So whether it was my own business or a Fortune 500, I always thought I'm going to run something. So that's kind of how I had this mindset. And it really started right before I went to college. I went to this amazing school called the Phelps School. Shout out to them. If you're a high school student looking for an alternative form of learning that really helps you out, highly recommend it. Boarding school, so anybody anywhere can go. I was working with a lot of, that's where I got into environmental sustainability, and we had a lot of classes around that. And my first kind of tech idea came into my head, and I thought of two things. I wanted to do like an automatic Roomba for cutting grass, and then that started to become a thing, and I was just too young and had no money to make it. Somebody else got onto it before me. And then secondly, there was the big bee crisis, and I thought of...
the big bee crisis?
Yeah, have you not heard about this?
As in like bees?
Yeah, Yeah.
Like, you mean like hornets coming to kill people, or like what?
No. That would be very much a crisis. But this one's
like
also,
like honeybees dying off.
Yes, and affecting the food supply, affecting everything. So that's kind of where I got my start into caring about it in terms of solving it with technology. I always cared about it before that. Coming from an Italian family, we also were relatively food insecure growing up because my dad was starting his own company. He had some issues with the 2008 economy. He had open heart surgery, which had him out of work for a couple years. So, and on top of that, raising a family of 6 people. So it was a hard time. So I got to really learn what food insecurity and all that meant. So that's kind of why I cared. Then in high school, started figuring out how to apply technology. That's with the bee crisis and the robots. I thought of, hey, let's make AI little bots that can go around and self-pollinate, because I read that bees actually use ultraviolet light and look at flowers and it creates a bullseye. And that's how they know where to pollinate. So I was like, again, I'm like 17, I don't know. I never did AI or whatever, but I'm like, oh, let's make a bee that can go self-pollinate and like go around and everything. And
what bee crisis?
Yeah. So that's where it started. Dropped the idea, moved on, went to Duquesne University. That's where I really got serious. I was a double major in supply chain and entrepreneurship. I was doing a lot of learning and process improvement, how important data was, what the collection of data looks like, what implementation looks like, and operational efficiencies. And then on the flip side, I'm learning entrepreneurship and the lean startup method and how to improve it. So obviously, like a lot of young entrepreneurs, I looked up to people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Warren Buffett and just all these random...
It's like Mount Rushmore of people
exactly.
that made it.
What you think of. And my thought of it was these awesome people looked at the world slightly different, and they were able to do something and create something so impactful that completely changed how human existence functions. And I always thought, even something as silly and stupid as like silly bands, there was somebody out there who was like, I'm going to make this rubber band into a shape and sell it for billions of dollars, and like, or millions, I don't know, but he may have never made it to the bees, but still, I was like, why can't I do that? So for the remainder of the years of college until my senior year, I walked around looking for this idea and thinking about this idea. And then that's where my aha moment finally came. I messed around with a couple other things. I started a landscaping company. I started a supply company called Supplied at Duquesne, some other random little things. I also worked at a tech startup, which got me some experience. And then now it's senior year, my last semester, and all of these amazing experiences accumulate to one night, 1 week that essentially is the domino and the catalyst for the next, hopefully forever. But, you know, so...
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so it was a Tuesday night. It was on the 4th floor of Rockwell Hall, Duquesne University. We were in the entrepreneurship or excellence room, and I'm sitting in a chair kind of like this. It was a really cool casual room we have. And it was my entrepreneurship capstone class, like I mentioned, and my professor has us listing problems like most entrepreneurs do. And for those who aren't entrepreneurs, we don't just find answers, we actually look at problems. And that's what a true entrepreneurship person does. We don't just try and find gadgets and things to create, we truly try and solve problems. So he had us listing it. My friend Jack goes, food waste. And I'm like, yeah, that's a massive problem. And I immediately start thinking back to freshman year and myself, how much I wasted just being gluttonous, thinking I was gonna enjoy another sandwich or eat this later, or I just wanna try some of this, or...
It's a common college thing, by the way. I think like anybody who's been in that freshman, dining hall or whatever, and it's like the first Harry Potter movie, and you're like, oh my God, the feast appears, and I could just have all this?
Exactly.
I went through that.
Exactly. And coming from someone who is relatively food insecure, and
it's like an awakening.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's
totally.
like, holy, I can have whatever I want. And that comes with, consequences. So thought back to all of that, and I was like, man, there's really something here. And at that point, this was within the first 5 seconds. I was like, boom, 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 my brain started going, my neurons were firing. And then I started, I'm sorry to my classmates, I stopped listening to everybody else's answers and problems, and I just went into a rabbit hole of my mind.
Tunnel vision. The whole world was sucked out. Exactly, and you're like, food waste, food waste, food waste.
So for the remainder of the class, I thought of that concept. And by the end of the class, I ended up coming up with my idea. It changed since then, obviously, as a lot of new ideas happen. But by the end of it, Duolingo is a local Pittsburgh company for those who aren't.
Y'all may have heard of it. They have an owl that maybe died.
Yeah, one of the first unicorn companies in the area, which is $1 billion valuation. So obviously looked up to them. They introduced pretty much gamification to the world and like what gamification and learning looks like in different applications. You know, the gamification has been a thing, but kind of commercializing it in that sense. So I was like, hey, let's just gamify food waste. And I was like, that's got to be the easiest way. Let's engage the students. Let's get them to want to take a picture of their plate before they throw it out. And it will assign Duquesne dollars or dining dollars based on what is left on the plate. And they can redeem that for Starbucks coffee or whatever they want. Make it a game. And so that's what I thought with. And I left that night with that idea. And coincidentally, grace of God, universe, whatever you want to say, my director of entrepreneurship volunteered me to go to Techstar Startup Weekend that Friday through Sunday at Duquesne University. So lo and behold, I go, I come up with this idea, and then the rest is history. I win, got 6 months free office space, and the story goes on. So,
I mean, that's awesome that you were able to go from nothing to at least fledgling idea in that one class. And I understand that people have these aha moments, but to truly be like, okay, and have it persist to the point that we're talking today, years on, pretty sweet.
The crazy thing is that it was a Tuesday that I thought of the idea, and by Sunday, I won 6 months free office space, had an entire business plan, a team, a pitch deck, like customer discovery done, like all this stuff. And that's thanks to Duquesne and like teaching me the lean startup method. I mean, it doesn't take time. It takes hard work and effort. You know, we spent an entire weekend just designing this business, and then most of from that weekend is still the framework and core business that we have today.
This third one's also pretty aptly named. It's by Full Pint Brewing, and it's called White Lightning.
Love it.
All right. Salud. So if what we're drinking is lightning in a can, then what you were trying to do over this 4-day period you were just talking about was capture lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that Techstar pitch competition, the ups and downs within it, leading to that win that you just teased out?
Yeah, totally. So the whole thing in itself was wild. There was a room of 60 people across multiple universities, across multiple age ranges. This competition wasn't limited to Duquesne. It wasn't limited to college students. We competed with 30, 40, 50-year-olds on top of people from Pitt, CMU, Grove City, all over the place, honestly.
So this thing was huge.
Yeah, it was a pretty big competition, honestly. And so 60 people were there Friday night. All 60 people, or most people who had an idea, gave a 30-second quick pitch. And from there, everybody voted, and 10 teams end up like going throughout the rest of the competition.
Wow, that whole thing just goes to 10 right away.
Yeah, right down to 10.
God, so, I must have some pressure associated with that, right? What was that first 30 seconds like?
So the funniest part of all of this, like, still at this moment, I don't know what is about to happen. I thought of this idea randomly on a Tuesday because I think it just so happened on that Monday I got told to think of an idea because you were going to participate in this
So this was like, what do I gotta lose?
Yeah, I didn't really give a shit, honestly. I don't know if I can curse, sorry.
Totally can, this is, yeah.
I was like, I didn't really give a damn. Like, I'm just here to have fun, and I love entrepreneurship, and I'm helping my teacher. Stacy Offit, she's the director. She has done, up until this point for my career, I already did beyond so much. I like owed my life to her. Little do I know she was gonna be the reason I start my own company. But yeah, so I didn't really care. I didn't really have like any real attitude towards it. I was just kind of there to be there, like a body. So I pitched it, whatnot, and then I got selected out of the group, and I was like, oh shit.
And now it turns out it's like, oh, now I gotta like do something with this.
So how it works was, we were in the big auditorium, and all teams, like all 10 founder of the idea stood in like a corner, and everybody else in the audience went and picked like what team they wanted to work with through the rest. So it was kind of like a blind group. Like I didn't even know who I was gonna get picked with or anything. Cool. It just so happened my one friend, Diego Lopez, shout out to him, he's awesome. He's helped a lot throughout this journey, but he was there for the same reason, kind of got voluntold to go. And so he was like, I'm just gonna join you, Nolan. Like, I don't know anybody else here. So he joined me. And then another gentleman by the name of Anthony, he was into food waste, into sustainability, and he just kind of liked what we had going on. And thankfully, he was our pretty much only like engineer. He was like from the engineering school at Duquesne or whatever. And then we had one other lady join our team named Artisha, and she was like our marketing person and helped make the slides all designed and engaging.
So that you looked real.
Yeah, we looked
beyond
real.
this just idea that just happened to pass. Got it.
So that's how the team formed, and it was only us couple, and a lot of the other teams, like there was 60 people there. We only got like 4 people in total. Like, I was like, oh God.
So now you got this team, this blind team. You just got passed into the top 10. You're looking around, you're like, God, where do I go from here? Now, what was the timeline between then and like the next cutoff?
Yeah. So so that was Friday night. Everybody got to go home, and the next day you came back and you had the full day to work and build your idea, do customer discovery, come up with your product, your solution. You had essentially the entire weekend. It was a full weekend from Friday to Sunday to get as far as you can with making a business, and pretty much the person who got the farthest with the best idea won. And so that's where we were at. So all Saturday we were going to the dining hall, interviewing staff, students, getting surveys, calling up other random people, building the device itself, thinking about what we wanted the application to be. And we had it all. I built a business plan that I had a software from a previous startup I was working on. They gave me a software, and then I just kind of like typed everything in and made our business plan, had their pitch deck, everything. So throughout that whole day though, rotating advisors and mentors from the local ecosystem were coming in to speak with us. And one of those people, it was Max Pollock and another individual, and I feel so bad I'm blanking on his name. He does a music startup, something with like music and sheet music and learning it and stuff. But that was at the end of the day. They came to us and they were like, cool, awesome idea. Who are you gonna sell it to? And I was like, shit. And then I didn't know.
So they said, the great job. You guys had spent all day. This is the end of the day, right? You had this ragtag group of somebody that made it pretty, somebody that won engineer. You had you.
Yeah.
Where's the money coming from?
Yeah. They're like, who's the stakeholder?
Exactly. What was your instinct there? Like, what did you want to say immediately?
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, like, obviously, like, we're going to sell it to the schools. Because
like the people in the dining hall that I just talked to.
Yeah, duh. And then they were like, no, but like, who has the purchasing power? And like, they opened my mind to a little deeper of a thought that I needed to be having. I was going a little too quick. And
even in the one-day construct, though, did that feel like just a hole in the sale of like,
oh my God, dude, I thought
like at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I'm done. I'm gonna get eliminated tomorrow or whatever.
Completely thought it was over. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I just did all of it.
I can't just have a startup and like make a bunch of funding money and that's it? Right.
Because I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, all right, here's this cool product. It's engaging, it's helping, we're solving a problem, but who's paying to solve that problem? And I was like, oh, this person. And then they were like, I don't think so. What about this? Like, this will probably be impacted. And then, you know, it wasn't as clear of a purchaser as I initially thought. So defeated and, you know, wind knocked out of me, both like, you know, from my sales. I said, all right, team, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have a beer. I'm gonna figure this out. I'll come back tomorrow with something.
So interesting. You go from that just a day prior being like, whatever, I got nothing to lose, to now I've lost.
Mm-hmm.
So
literally.
How do you come back from that then? Because I know there's a good end to the story.
Yeah.
So fill it in.
Yeah, as part of it was like me, like I'm a natural, just very competitive person. I've been an athlete like my whole life. I grew up with a bunch of older siblings, so you had to compete for attention and focus and everything. So a very competitive person. So I didn't care at first, and then I realized like, oh, there's something here, and I actually can care, and like there's a reason to care, and oh wait, there's a prize at the end. It like slowly festered and built up on itself to me by that point being like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose. Like when that person said it. So went home, had my beer, thought of the idea of now what is Clean Plate Innovations. And to this day, like I was mentioning, this is the core business model that we still function off of. So I was sitting there. I was just an intern at Wesco doing data analytics. I helped at a local manufacturing company called Blind Envisioned, and I redesigned their coal manufacturing process that they were using charcoal process for they were making filters with. So I had a lot of this process improvement, recent stuff I was just doing, and I also just worked with this other computer vision tech startup that was monitoring kind of grocery stores and products. So I had this whole mindset around like operational efficiency, and I was like, all right, if students are already taking the pictures of the plates every day, we can see it, and we're getting this data. Like, screw the students for right now. We don't need them to interact with it. There's already a controlled point of disposal at the conveyor belt system or the trash cans. Let's just mount a camera there, collect all the data. Data is dollars. Like, the new wave is data. That's what creates
and
dollars.
Your data is the new oil.
Yeah,
right?
yes, exactly. So it was just the natural evolution in my mind from going from like, oh, this is gonna be this fun gamification, like gimmicky idea to like, all right, let's lock the hell in and let's make a business. And what's the best way to make money? B to E and B to B. And so I went from this like, oh, la-di-da to like, all right, let's get fucking serious. Let's build this thing. Like, we're gonna go off. Right. So that's how it all happened. I just like pulled my accumulation of business knowledge and what works best and trends and, you know, market history and stuff. And I was like, all right, we're going to be an operational like a data business for food service management. And we're going to redefine what large scale dining operations look like. And we're going to be this blend of data collection, consultancy, and a partnership. And we're going to like completely just topple over and redesign what this is. And then ever since that shift of mindset, it's been, I got a massive horse in the race that I'm gonna see it all the way through. And now it's just like this really fun, awesome, scary, crazy, chaotic journey of building a business, but we're loving it.
Good.
But yeah, we won. So
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, so the end of the story there, it sounds like is that you go to sleep, all of this stuff builds up. Yeah, I'm gonna do this B2B is where the money is. Okay, totally agree with that. Yeah. You wake up, and then, so what was that like to go from this nothing to lose day one to having it be announced that you won? Because now, because I would think like one is like thrilling because you're super competitive, as you just said. Was there any like, oh shit, I just won and I got some stuff? What did you win again? Let me know.
Yeah, so it was 6 months free office space at Oakland at Avenue. So shout out Avenue Workspaces. They're funded by Pittsburgh ID, which is the innovation district. Awesome, helpful companies. But yeah, that's what I got. And I think I got like mentors, some other random thing.
Right. Did it feel more real than it had to have? Because it's still only 3 or 4 days from this pitch, and now you've got the space, and this is that chaotic journey. You know, I can feel that energy, it's palpable, but did it feel like you were getting towards that CEO in the suit vision that you had, when you were younger?
Not at all. It felt like such a joke, honestly. Not in a mean way, not downplaying the accomplishment, but like just in terms of the CEO stuff, like, I mean, it just took me like a couple months ago to like settle into like being like, yeah, wait, I have a business, I have 15 teammates, I have pilots, I have offices, and stuff. Like, that took me a while, but that's because I just have imposter syndrome, and like nothing ever satisfies my drive, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, so technically came, so there was top 3 places, all 3 got the same prize, but since we were second, I was kind of like, I didn't think we did it. Like, so it was funny, like I didn't really even then have any concept of what was about to be. Which is funny, on my YouTube, we have a video of when it got announced, so you can see my reaction, and you can even see the pitch that we did that when we won it. But yeah, so I came back on Sunday, I had my finished business plan, I had the pitch and everything, and the rest of the day we scrambled, got it together. Literally, we were late to the pitch because we were rehearsing for the first time our pitch, and we run out, pitch it, win, fun, I think the event's over, whatever. The next week, I email my team and I'm just like, hey, does anybody want to continue this? Like, why not? You know, I just like, I don't even, so much has happened now. It's honestly kind of become a blur, which is crazy to say, but like I forget exactly how I was feeling, but I wasn't really committed, but I wasn't not committed. You know, I was like, let's see, this could be something. I'm still in school for another couple months. I'm still in the entrepreneurship capstone class, so I still need a project. Like I had some extrinsic motivation to keep me pushing with it. So I met with the team. It was kind of like flaky, and like I was really like the only one engaged. And then like a week later, they all kind of left. And yeah, so that was how it went, but no hard feelings. Tony ended up getting an awesome job overseas with his degree. So it was a conflict of interest. Diego, just not his passion, honestly, but he is an actor and he does awesome stuff. So since then, like even up to a couple months ago when I won the Duquesne New Ventures Challenge, he has been our pitch guy. So ever since that first day of pitching Clean Plate, I usually bring him out to pitch with us. So that's just fun to always have. But yeah, didn't really think anything of it. When it got real was a week or two after that. The team fell apart. I was pondering it, just kicking it in the dirt, thinking like, I don't know, what do we do here? And then I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm gonna email Rena Zhang and like Charles Mansfield, the people from Avenue, and let me just get the desk. It can't hurt, it's free. So I get the desk, and that's when everything happens. That's like the moment, because for me, like, just the way my brain works, like seeing it in real life, like this desk on the table, like empty desk, was like, fuck, here's my future. What can I put on there?
And ironically, it's literally a clean plate.
Yeah, and we use that all the time. That has been a funny like irony, and a saying that we end up getting to use all the time is like our clean plate and like a clean slate and stuff. So yeah.
We're gonna move from beer into cider, actually. We haven't done much cider on Thought Leaders, but we do it here. This is the Jump Run from Arsenal.
Oh, I love Arsenal.
I thought it was interesting because the image on the front is of somebody like jumping out of a plane. And that's much of what entrepreneurship is, isn't it? In fact, I forget who said it, but it's like jumping off of a mountain and building a plane on the way down. Right? I've screwed that up.
Yeah, one
like,
of my mentors says it's like flying a plane and trying to build it at the same time.
Yeah, basically. So here is where we will put our stake in the ground with what Clean Plate is today. Note, investors, potential pilot, customers, whatever, this is what you want to listen to. Hit me with what Clean Plate does now, because I'm imagining that between Techstar and now, it's updated a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so we leverage machine learning and computer vision through a camera system that's easily installed with minimal retrofitting and no disruption to workflows. That does a continual monitoring of the point of disposal, which is your trash cans, of the plate waste, in order to give you real-time actionable analytics when waste issues cause quality spikes. And when we do aggregate data for menu optimization, food ordering, process flows, and general business optimization. And on top of that, we also give you standardized and very easy to report ESGs, or corporate social responsibility reporting. So for universities, this looks like easy access to stars ratings, which improves your output and perspective, and also allows you to get some grants and other kinds of funding. So we offer a suite of kind of things, but essentially we focus out of 3 value pillars: real-time, aggregate, and sustainability reported.
Got it. So let's use this lens of a university. So if I'm a university and I'm looking to like figure out how to actually calculate all this, you'll come in, you have your sort of infrastructure, this minimally retrofitted infrastructure, which sits not on the conveyor belt or the trash can, whatever it is. It's wherever
they
it gets
need.
disposed.
Yeah, it's super flexible. We can rearrange.
And then the technology. Here's where I want to dive in a little bit, because, and we've had a few of these on the 6-pack series we're doing here with Innovation Works, about specific application of like tech, which is very hot right now, because you mentioned machine learning, and that I feel like has almost taken a backseat to what this super AI craze is right now. Some would tell you that AI isn't even real, it's just machine learning applied to different things. But when you've been in conversations with investors, customers, is that one of the first things that you hear? And what do you normally say when somebody says, oh, is this just AI, but for food? How do you deal with that?
Yeah. One thing that we complete unexpected that we didn't know. We handled it, but we didn't think we were ever going to have to handle it. Was a very large local university that's a research school came to us asking to do a pilot, and through the conversation they said, "What's your AI emissions?" And I said, "What?" I was like, what do you mean? There isn't any. Like it's an app on your phone essentially. Did some research, come to find out the preconceived notion is ChatGPT, Claude, all these large language models, LLMs, have massive data centers that are pulling kilowatts of energy and power, which are very high producing emissions. So we had to separate ourselves from that, and we didn't even realize that was going to become a problem or a
because
perception.
this is not anything reliant upon an LLM. This is
No,
totally different.
this is this is old school machine learning, object detection, like computer vision. I mean, computer vision's ever evolving and new, but like these principles are relatively old. Like machine learning is not this new concept. Again, I am the kind of person that says AI isn't real, it's just different applications of machine learning. And a lot of my tech team will also say that AI has become this buzzword as a selling feature, and everybody's just tagging AI on this. Like AI has been around forever. Any chatbot that you use for customer service, that's all AI. So they're just using it now as a selling point. So that's my rant, sorry.
Yeah, well, no, that was good. It's good. It's good to know that, because like it's amazing. And I'm sure, look, if you're an entrepreneur in anything tech these days, somebody will have asked this question. So like, what's your angle on AI? And maybe byproduct for that, like, what's your emissions? And it's amazing how people just sort of AI wash a lot of stuff when it's not even necessarily.
It's like greenwashing, but for that.
Yeah, exactly, right. So we have this solution now where you can go, and we'll use the university in the cafeteria, I suppose, as a microcosm for this global crisis. And we're able to collect a ton of data around the waste. So how does collecting data in just that one point allow you to begin to think about the problem at scale? Because the world is not a cafeteria, of course, but there's plenty of waste happening all over the place. How do you extrapolate the insights, data, any related analytics from that to this much bigger problem, which ultimately, I'm guessing, Clean Plate wants to attack?
1,000%. So this is one of our long-term journeys, and it relates back to what we spoke about in the beginning with the consumer looks at an apple, they throw it out, they don't think anything of it, but really it impacts both ways on the supply chain. That one university might seem insignificant. Oh, all right, we saved you this many pounds or whatever. But again, that affects the entire supply chain of consumer patterns too. So one of our big goals here at Clean Plate is once we can get into one university, 2 universities, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're in all of Western Pennsylvania, we then have a pretty damn good consumption pattern for male and female from age 18 to 24, what their consumption patterns and their eating habits are, to be able to help talk to Nestle, Kellogg's, all massive food providers, or the government agencies for what's going on. So like something that we eventually want to try and help is like in K through 12 or in hospital sectors, you have to, by FDA regulations, have a certain amount of calories and a certain amount of style on a plate, which means, spoke to numerous people in these areas, which means that kids, for example, are coming, taking their apple, banana, whatever, throwing it all out because they just have to get it given to anyway. Whereas we could come up with better ways of redesigning that menu and re-engaging with these people. We're educating them on why they need this kind of stuff. That was something that Duquesne brought up to us was, yeah, we have to switch to this veggie diet and stuff, but it's for the benefit of the students, but they don't know that, and they just think that they're getting garbage food now or whatever. So that's our big end goal, is to get consumption patterns and trends and again, aggregate that out, see how we can apply it in other places and truly close the loop. And again, long-term, this is a big goal of mine, is to start a nonprofit with this, where we actually complete the process from food desert to food surplus. So where there's massive surpluses, how to connect that and share it out to other places. So one university might not seem significant, but that's what the beauty of exponential factors are. We hope to just continue to compile and compile and compile. And even at one university, over multiple semesters, you get a much better image and can do a lot more with that information.
This system is called the Grierson's Ginger, also from Arsenal, a little spicier than the one we just had. Thinking beyond the roots from which the university cafeteria environment can provide these data assets, these understandings of like behavioral waste amongst these demos that you've just mentioned, looking at it 10, 20, 30 years from now, because as you've said, this is something that you hope is like your main play, where do you see the world of food waste, or maybe acknowledgement of it, aided by you and others, 10, 20 years from now? Get me a glimpse into the future of the battle against food waste with tech.
So there's a couple different folds or like theories that I've been playing around with. The biggest one that I think is going to be, and I'd love to have someone shoot me this message in 20 years and see if I was right, but I think our biggest route in terms of business model and also making the most impact is going to be really engaging with regulators and certification agencies like REFED, STARS, ASHARE, and then again, government agencies like that are passing mandates or bills. So there's a thing in California that we did research on where every day, if you have a certain amount of threshold of waste, you get fined like $10,000 a day. So how I think we can really help and shape it is, one, unlocking the data to get these places to be able to report much clearer and better, and move up in the rankings. And then two, actually be able to do something with that. So that's kind of my vision, is going into the regulatory and governance and guide of it to be able to help these large institutions, these massive Airmarks, Tedesco, these massive food service providers be able to actually kind of combat and engage in their goals that they have. So a lot of these places are like, by 2030, we're going to have 100% reduction in food waste and all these big things that are getting claimed.
Which kind of you eye roll at, you're like, you're not.
How are you gonna, we're going to enable that to happen.
Right.
So we're the goal unlocker.
Can I ask you a quick question on the side of that? Because if there is such a butterfly effect in the supply chain and the energy expenditure into food, which is ultimately wasted, if you want to reduce that waste, does that not ultimately flow back upstream and almost provide a case to produce less? Is that not counter the incentives of like the Airmarks of the world who want to sell more?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and that's been something that we've been trying to manage and deal with, is like the issues of incentives. And this goes back to the root question of this sit down. Is it tech? Is it human? It's a combination, but mainly it's government and regulations, which is human. But, they're like, okay, you have to sell X amount to be able to get your bonus this year. So they're incentivized to waste, unfortunately, or you get stipend or whatever to grow different foods, so you grow even to just waste. And like there's a lot of issues with that, and that's part of, again, our long-term plan of engaging the consumer, educating, and creating this like full closed loop system. And one of the things we're doing to explore that opportunity of engaging and educating, because we think that's really where it comes from. Knowledge is power, and if we can educate everybody, that's where the biggest change will come from. And then we, with our technology, can help maintain that change. But one of the things we were experimenting with is is educating the consumers, and how with water stations, with your refill bottle, you have a ticker that shows how many
things you save.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're thinking about doing that and putting it in a dining hall so they can see the amount of waste in pounds that they're doing and wasting and everything. So that's just the beginning of it, but the goal is education and making that change from education, and then maintaining the change with our technology.
Right. Okay, good. Because my mind went to, first, you need to somehow get these businesses to change their incentive structure away from sell more, sell more, sell more, to be more conscious. Now, going all the way back to one of the first things you said in this interview about how you were able to reduce waste in a very micro level just by making people aware of the problem. What are some of the ways that you would do that? And it sounds like you just kind of answered that with the tickers, but okay, so you're able to approach it from both sides and use this technology to do that.
Yeah, and another thing, and again, this is dreams and aspirations. A lot of these universities, like at Duquesne, they have a foods app which shows you all the local restaurants in Duquesne. So like their cafes and bistros and stuff. You can see their hours, you can see their menus. I would love to have a feature where the students can click in and see more engaged and bring back that gamifying aspect. I still, it got left in the dirt because it needed to be to start the business.
Right.
But I think bringing that gamification aspect back in, having the students engaged, and teaching them through these kinds of things with integrating with the school's apps, or having display banners and tickers. Another big thing, we just want to host straight up educational seminars and lunch and learns, where we engage with whatever's actually wasted in that lunch and stuff like that. So it's a big thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It makes me wonder, like, you know how, this is a little tangent. You know, sometimes you go to Google Maps and you try to find the right, like, driving directions, and nowadays they give you like the route that is maybe within a couple minutes of the fastest, but actually saves the more gas. It's got the leaf next to it. Kind of almost wonder, like, for some of those apps in college where they like suggest places to go eat, if they don't sort by like minimum waste, you know, that becomes a new filter.
Yeah.
If you're trying to gamify, I don't know, like,
Oh, exactly. But those are the concepts.
Trying to get into the clean plate movement.
Exactly. No, that's literally, that's what I do. I sit here and I think of this, and it sounds like random, but that's
You're just sitting here swirling the glass like, you know what we should do? Here's how we're going to change the world next.
Literally,
Now you're doing the suit CEO kind of thing, right? You're sitting back thinking how you're going to change the world. So, all right, good. Playing along with you a little bit there. That's good. That's good. For the finale in the flight, we're going right back home. This is the Allegheny Dry, a cider from Threadbare. Salud. Being the Allegheny Dry, and because this is part of the six-pack series of the Innovation Works, I want to know what has been great about continuing to build Clean Plate and attack this problem right here in Pittsburgh. What is it about the network, the community, the support, the resources that has kept you here as you have grown past that first high-pressure weekend into what is now something which you can envision doing for the rest of time?
Yeah, I mean, I think I really, truly have a good perspective on this because I'm from Philadelphia, so I'm an implant to Pittsburgh. I'm
from Baltimore, so I'm an implant.
Yeah, I love it. But I fell in love with the city. In a non-offensive way, I always say it's the city without the city, because it looks like a city, it feels like a city, but like in Philadelphia, you'll get smacked in the head by accident just like saying the wrong thing. So that's why I say it's the city without the city. But no, I think what was most cool for me was being in Duquesne University, seeing Innovation Works come in and give speeches, going to events in the ecosystem and seeing them, you know, give lectures and give pitches, and going to Innovation Works actual facilities to their events and seeing the different desks and the teams working and what they're doing. And then to get into Innovation Works and then to be on that other side, having people walk past my desk. Like it's just been this holistic, like complete full circle moment of what I dreamed and then somehow actually getting to that dream. So to me, that's why I love Pittsburgh, because I went through my formative years of college dreaming about, I remember being at Duquesne University in the Power Center, which overlooks the city. And I looked at all the buildings, and when I was working out, I pictured them all saying my name at the top of it. I said, that's what the fuck I'm gonna be. My name's gonna be at the top of it.
That's like actors in Hollywood sitting on Mulholland Drive and looking down on the lights and saying like, I'm gonna be something.
Yeah, that was like me in the gym at Duquesne looking at the city saying, one of those is gonna say Sulpizio Mechanical. It's my dad's company. At the time, I thought I was gonna go home and take that over. But so I was like, one of the buildings are gonna say my name. And then, not that a building says my name yet, but on the flip side, that I actually really ingrained myself into this ecosystem and being like, just getting deeper and deeper and deeper and like becoming that person I looked up to in a sense. It's just like this crazy full circle thing that I'm becoming what I wanted to do. You know, it sounds like kind of cliche or whatever, but I'm truly living it. So that's why I love Pittsburgh. Plus all the other amazing benefits. I mean, there's massive amounts of talent here, massive amounts of ecosystem where, again, you can connect and meet and talk, but it's not so much of a big city where you get lost. And in Philadelphia, I could have never got this start, like ever. I think I credit all my success to Stacy Offit, Duquesne, and then the stamp of approval from Innovation Works, because pretty much, again, since the city's so small and connected, if you get into Innovation Works, it's kind of like your street cred. You kind of made it. You're a real company.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah, and ever since Innovation Works, that's also what gave me that ever slight dip on my chip and a little extra pep in my step.
Yeah, right.
Not that I think I made it. I got a long ways to go, a lot of learning to do, and a whole lot more selling to happen. But it definitely gave me some more confidence for sure.
Right. So then at some point, that sign that's up on, was it Mount Washington up there? Iron City beer sign. Soon that will say Clean Plate.
Yes, yeah.
Right, that'll be you.
That's the goal.
You'll be the face, the Duolingo that you dreamed of.
Yeah.
Right.
My whole thing, we're building empires. That's the whole dream.
Yeah, I mean, hey, who doesn't want to do that?
Right.
Right. So now we have endured the gauntlet of these 6 local beers and ciders. We got the leaders flowing through us. We're sharing plenty of thoughts, and so we have to end Thought Leaders with this. A return to the initial question. Given everything we've talked about and your POV on the world today and 10, 20 years from now, the question remains, can technology truly solve this global food crisis? And/or is it just a tool to help the human problem that has really made this problem?
From and this is my Nolan Sulpizio's perspective.
Okay, we'll put like a bunch of white text across the bottom. Yeah.
I think the human species as a whole, we are the most invasive species. And so I think technology is a tool to help the human problem, and we only ever complete technology through human intervention anyway. So no matter what, at the end of the day, it comes down to me, myself, and I, or you, yourself, and you kind of thing, you know? So I think technology is a means to an end, but it really, back to what I said earlier, it comes from education, it comes from caring, it comes from completing the picture for people to understand that this apple in their hand had an entire life before getting to your hand, even if it's an inanimate object, and it will have an entire life after you throw your couple bites out, you know? So that, I think, is where the real solutions will come through. And technology, just like it's done from, the last, couple hundred years that we've been slowly evolving in our technology field, that the connectivity, we now can talk to somebody completely across the world like that because of technology. That's what our goal hopefully is to do, to complete that waste in the entire globe and complete the entire global picture of what waste is. We have dreams to go into other countries, into other universities globally, other institutions globally. The United States is a very small portion of it, and honestly, we are kind of behind in our sustainability perspectives, and there's a lot of other countries out there that have a pretty good market for it. So I'm excited what the future will hold. I think it's only going to get more clear once we expand globally and can really track globally too. So,
well, if it's of any consolation, I haven't left a drop in any of these glasses. Nothing has been wasted today.
Perfect.
Nor has any time been wasted in talking about this problem. And so from the beers to the ciders and everything in between, Nolan, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts over a leader and being on Thought Leaders with me.
Appreciate
Salut.
it. Salut.
And here's to solving more of that global food crisis to come.